Hi, welcome. Liz Royce with 52 CEOs, and now I know it's recording. And so today's strategy is one of the top three. It is love, 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 right? Such a great strategy. It's really, really simple, but not always easy to implement. And so I want to talk to you today. It's similar to gratitude. You need to practice love as often as possible, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Let love radiate from you continuously. I promise if you do this, magical things will happen in your life. And when you feel worthy, you generate wealth. I mean, it's crazy. It's one of the laws. But the more that you love yourself and love life, you can create love in so many areas of your life and yourself as well and others. And it is so incredibly powerful. I can't stress it enough. So remember, the three things are gratitude, to believe in yourself, and love yourself and others. So important. And I want you today to think about the different ways that you can practice love in your life. And I wrote down a few things so I wouldn't forget. One of them is, let me see it here, accept yourself. This is really hard for some people. So when you look in the mirror, do you love who you see? No, I don't mean externally, your hair, your eyes, your face, whatever. I mean on the inside, when you really look deeply into your eyes, are you loving yourself? And I'm turning the timer on because I know I'm going to run late on this one. I can talk to you about love for hours, never mind 15 minutes. And so it's important to forgive yourself. That's number one. For past wrongs, we all have made mistakes, right? You've maybe judged someone, you've maybe talked bad about them, you made some bad decisions. Forgive yourself. That's in the past, right? You're human. Unless you're God, do not beat yourself up over those things. And the second thing here with accepting yourself and loving yourself is don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has a story. And I promise you, this is true because I used to listen to them. I'd see these people come into the deposition room and they'd sit down and I would think, oh, wow, they must have the most unbelievable life. Come to find out, it's not as it seems. Everybody has something that they're going through, that they just went through. It's so amazing to me when you really have people open up and be honest. Everyone has something that they're struggling with. So that brings me to the second thing is setting boundaries. This is so important. And this can be with your time, right? Spending time and devoting your energy to people that you don't necessarily enjoy being around. So limit those, set your boundaries. If it's a mother or mother-in-law, they sometimes get a bad rap, but if it's someone who drains you, who when you leave, you're like, oh, I need a nap, then set boundaries around it, right? You can either incorporate other people into the mix and spend time doing that, or incorporate maybe doing an activity, say, oh, maybe we can go out shopping or go to lunch or go bowling. I don't know, anything, mini golf. And so set those boundaries with those people. The third thing is to love yourself, practice self-care. I had the hardest time with this years ago. I literally did not go to a doctor's appointment. In my head, was thinking self-care was getting your nails done. No. It's actually going to bed at the time that you say you're going to go to bed. It's drinking enough water during the day to keep yourself hydrated. It's taking a moment when you feel stressed to give yourself grace, to get yourself back together mentally, emotionally, right? Just maybe do box breathing, getting yourself back in check and in alignment with yourself in the present moment. And so really self-care is a huge one. Another one is practice saying no to commitments. Don't overcommit yourself. And this goes with boundaries, but I wanted to make it a separate one because oftentimes people have a hard time saying no, especially at work, when you think it's going to be detrimental to maybe you getting a raise or something like that. And people looking down on you like, oh, they're trying to shirk their responsibility. don't be afraid to say that you have enough on your plate and you really can't take that on, or it doesn't fit your talents, whatever it is. Be honest and just let them know that you're not allowed to take on something else because you don't want to overdo it. Give yourself grace. Oh my goodness. This is also such a big one because as humans, I feel like we put so much pressure on ourselves. At least I know I do, to be perfect, to do things right, to make things happy and productive, and just always trying to make things great. Well, guess what? Sometimes they're not, and that's okay. You can't beat yourself up over it, and you can't blame yourself for it. And just practice giving yourself grace if you don't accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish that day. Give yourself grace and stay positive. This is the next one. Your inner talk. What are you saying to yourself on a daily basis? If you're saying negative things, I don't even like them to come out of my mouth, even giving this example, but practice saying inner positive thoughts. I'm working hard at getting better at this. I think this is Marie Forleo said, I don't do overwhelm. I don't do stress. I don't do, emergency meetings without an agenda. Whatever it is that you don't do and don't want to do, because you find that they just drain you and you are not practicing your boundaries and your self-love when you do those things. So think about them and give yourself some grace and some positive talk. And practice it. You have to practice loving yourself. A lot of people try to love themselves, but they hold on to some things that they did and cannot forgive themselves. But the more that you practice giving yourself grace and forgiveness and the self-care and the positive self-talk, the better you're going to get at it. And you'll realize that you're going to start catching yourself when you do start talking negatively to yourself. And this kind of brings me back to like when I gave up sugar. At one point in my life, I lived in a different state and I used to go to this Mexican restaurant, and we used to joke that their salsa was laced with cocaine. It was so addictive that you would want to keep eating it and eating it and eating it. When I moved away, I was trying to lose weight at one point and I stopped eating sugar. When I went back to visit and somebody brought the salsa, on my first bite, I noticed what the secret ingredient was. It was sugar. I'd never noticed it before. And if you would have said to me, there's sugar in the salsa, I would have argued with you because it didn't taste sweet to me. Until sometimes when you remove yourself, and this is going back to the muscle and the inner talk and all these things about loving yourself, sometimes you don't even realize how hard you are on yourself and how your inner talk is affecting you until you stop doing it. So just start slowly. You need 8 positive thoughts or comments to combat one negative one. So even if just one time you're saying something negative to yourself, you need 8 positive ones to counteract that one. So please be careful and aware of what you're saying to yourself. Practice gratitude. Oh my goodness, right? It goes back to that, right? Believe in yourself, believe that you can do it. And one of the benefits to believing in yourself, hopefully in that moment, you can make that list. I think I talked about this earlier. So if you haven't done it, I want you to write a list of your strengths, the things that you're good at. You know why? Because when you do fall out of love and you just fall off the handle and start thinking all these negative things, go back to that list. Your strengths, how far you've come, hurdles you've overcome, obstacles you've overcome. Think to yourself, how can I be more loving to myself? How can I really boost myself up? And it does have so much to do with that. And so your mental health, truly loving yourself is by far the most important thing. And your self-love should always be greater than your desire to be loved by others, your boss, more than money or people's opinions or their expectations of you. Absolutely everything, obviously, other than God. But really, in terms of things, you should love yourself more than anything or anyone, because when you love yourself, you can give that love to other people and they can feel it and it will come full circle. And so I think I know I talk very quickly. And so I'm at about 10 minutes. And so I know I didn't start that until a little bit later. So I want to wrap up, but I want to encourage you to not wait. Don't wait until something happens before you start loving yourself. Don't wait for something bad to happen or just a tragedy that you have in your life. Start now. That muscle grows very quickly the more that you practice it. And so I really want to encourage you today to love life, love others, love experiences, and truly love yourself. And that does include the bad things, just like gratitude. Gratitude and love go hand in hand. And I know that is really, really hard, especially when there's something about you that you don't like, whatever it is. Maybe it's a physical trait, maybe it's an inner trait, maybe you have a horrible habit of, I don't know, lying, let's say, and you don't like that about yourself. Try to love yourself anyway, to work on that. And you know what? That is a part of you. That's one of your flaws, and that's okay. We all have flaws. We all have something that we're working on. So I encourage you today to please love yourself, love others as constantly as possible, which should be truly 24 hours, 7 days a week. Even when you mess up, still love yourself unconditionally. Unconditional love is what you should be practicing. I want to thank you for watching. I think I covered everything, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next module. Liz Royce with 52 CEOs.